Fox News and FM Talk Radio, 99.1 KKFT and 99.1FMTalk.com.
Yeah, that's right. You're listening to Breakthrough Radio. You can catch us here every Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m. I'm Jeffrey Benjamin, and you know that we're always sharing with you tools, tips, or habits that you can utilize to take your personal or professional life to a whole new level. That's right. We're sharing information, but it's more important that you take action on the information that we share, because information without demonstration is 100% useless. And in the studio today, we have Steve Conine, president of AccuStaff and Talent Framework, and he's going to be sharing with us some tips, some tools that we can put into practice to survive in tough times. Hey, great to see you here today, Steve.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate you having me on the show today. Well, it seems like you can't go anywhere in our community these days without hearing someone talking about the economy going into recession, or companies going through a layoff, or talking about who's slowing down or who's shutting down. And I think most people's fear is for their job right now. They all want to know, how's my company doing? And they may ask themselves, am I safe? Should I get my resume out there just in case? I think it's important to remember that when we go through this economic roller coaster, we still have business to conduct and livelihoods to protect. And that requires businesses to keep the best people that they've got, not just to weather the storm or to pull a blanket over their heads, but to continue to attract quality people, to build their customer loyalty, and even to grow. So we've come up with several tips for employers that they can use to keep at the top of their mind as anxiety belts tighten and the economic recession continues.
Because it is everywhere, and people are freaking out. They're scared. So some real good information, some tools, tips, and habits are vital for our listeners today.
Absolutely right. I think most importantly, the best way to weather tough times is with a highly engaged, focused, fired up, and capable workforce.
Yeah!
So we need to avoid those moronic tactics like knee-jerk layoffs, poorly contrived pay cuts, and petty cutbacks unless survival is truly at stake. These activities are guaranteed to make workers power back a notch or two during a slowdown. If you are focused to make painful cuts, remember, managers and officers have to bleed first.
Yeah, that first one, being able to avoid knee-jerk reactions, is critical, because most people are reactive instead of proactive. And when you get into a knee-jerk situation, you're probably not really doing the right actions. What's number 2?
Absolutely. I think the second most important thing is not to let fear cause your workforce to disengage. Being conservative with expenses is one thing, but adding a dose of fear into the workplace, well, that's a whole nother thing, Jeff. When employees get concerned about losing their jobs, they become inversely concerned with doing their jobs and taking care of business. Staffers take their cues from owners and managers and telltale signs of fear and hope. Emphasizing the positives, honoring the achievements of individuals, and setting an example that your team can really follow.
Which is excellent, because like you stated right there, if people are seeing their managers or supervisors freaking out and in fear mode, it's going to roll right on down to those people.
Absolutely. So another most important thing is that you need to not be afraid to have an honest conversation with your people about how your business is going. The one thing that's more distracting than anything else is not knowing what's going on. The more time your people spend gossiping about layoffs and reading the company blog for insight or surfing job boards, the more time your customers are being ignored. Okay, here's our 4th tip. Don't stop recruiting. If anything, your management team should be doubling their efforts now more than ever. Recruiting is something that every company, regardless of size, should be doing every day of the year. You can recruit constantly and only hire when you need somebody. Some of the savviest investors are adding to their portfolios in the downturns so they can reap the rewards when things improve. The same principles apply to hiring on talented people. They're out there. Go find them and start paving the road now so that you can drive on it later, Jeff.
All right, well, those are excellent tips. Those are 4. Let's hear number 5.
Number 5 is training cutbacks. If you're doing training that doesn't need to be done, then you shouldn't be doing it anyway. The idea that you can somehow help the business by cutting necessary or mandatory training is like playing with fire. Think about your next hospital visit or a trip on an airline. I hope they at least read the Cliff Notes.
Well, and as long as they don't cut their breakthrough training budget, then that's all I care about, right?
Absolutely.
Fox News and
Breakthrough
FM Talk
Radio.
99.1 KKFT and 99.1FMTalk.com.
Breakthrough Radio.